Check, 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 check. Check, check, check. Check, 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 check.
We'll make it easy.
Where y'all putting out of the okay? Good Tuesday evening, everyone, and welcome into the Sports Blitz Lake Martin Sports Roundup Show, live on location at JR Sports Bar and Grill, as we are each and every Tuesday in downtown Alexander City. Scott Hardy and Adam Blankenship here with you for the next hour, discussing all things local sports, and we are very excited for this time of year. Only a week away from the first football game of the season. Week 0, which is something that I still don't understand, but week 0 will begin next week for the ASSA. So we'll have a lot of our local teams in action. Only Benjamin Russell and Horseshoe Bend are the two teams that won't be active next Friday, but Reeltown, Coosa, and Dayville will all be in action next week. So after all of the talking we've been doing this spring and recapping and reviewing last year's season and previewing the upcoming season for all of our local teams, we're only a week away, and I, for one, cannot be more excited about it for the opportunity to talk about football, and especially with my counterpart here, Adam Blankenship, who will have the opportunity again to continue his calling of the game. So that was something we really got into last year, and so really looking forward to catching up with you again this year, seeing the games you called. But Blank, again, we're in the thick of I guess just the prep period for all of our high school teams, and again, this is an exciting time for the Lake Martin area.
Yeah, definitely, Scott. And football season's right around the corner. I'll be here before you know it, and everybody's geared up, man. Like, the time's flying by. It's already middle of August, which is kind of crazy. It's already the 15th. So, whether these teams right here are ready or not, it's getting here. It's getting here quickly. So, lots of excitement, though. It's really probably my favorite time of the year, hands down. So, I just can't wait to get everything started. And like you said, with doing the games a little bit last year when I was calling and everything, really enjoyed that. It really gave me a whole different, I guess, a different point of view in all of these teams, because you actually get to go see them and watch them and report on them. So hopefully this year I'll be able to provide a lot of information and keep everybody up to date on what's going on and some of their top players. But looking forward to it.
And that's something, too, that I'm excited about, too, to get. And that's, obviously Randy, Brett, and myself are involved with the Wildcats. We don't really get the opportunity to see any of the other game or see any other teams, rather. Ooh, excuse me. So we're always tied in with the Wildcats, and so really our recap of those games are usually what we get to see in the Sports Extra each week. But it'll be good to have somebody who is on the ground at a lot of these games. And again, you're 2 weeks away from really two of the bigger games that we're going to see in the area. Reeltown and Dayville 2 weeks away, and then Benjamin Russell and Clay Central. So those are the two games I'm looking forward to the most as the season gets ready to start. But also kind of Coosa, too. I want to see what's going to happen with the new head coach there. Some new excitement there for the offensive coordinator, and we will make sure that we provide his name in this next breakout. His name escapes me at the moment. But a lot of change in the area, too. And I know we're in football season, but something that was brought to my attention by the former coach of the Benjamin Russell Wildcat basketball team, Coach Jeff Hines, is that this will be the first time in memory, or in history, rather, that you'll have Benjamin Russell, Coosa, and Dayville all with new head coaches in the basketball season. So that'll be something kind of interesting to see as well. But, again, this is football season, and this is what we enjoy the most and what we enjoy talking about the most, and especially high school football. And that's what I'm working on for my column this Friday, is just talking about why high school football is the best sport.
I look at you getting into the writing. I like that.
Well, I just
it's a talent that's wasted if you don't. So I'm just telling you that. Like, you need to write.
Yeah, but then we had that conversation about what's harder, you think, and like now I will absolutely say, now maybe like you're looking at a lot of like Fox Sports and ESPN, especially Fox Sports, though they just let go a bunch of their online writers to try to make it push more so for the digital end. But in terms of high school football and high school coverage, I think you do need somebody who's writing and gets that different perspective compared to talking about college or NFL, because if you're not there, you do want to read about what was going on there. So, again, I'm extremely excited. And this will be the first time in a while where we don't really have a dominant team in the area. Usually there's one or two teams, sometimes 3 or 4 teams in our area that we cover that are going to be powerhouse teams. And there's I'm not going to say a downward trend, but Dayville kind of going through a restructuring period there. Reeltown will be a better team, I think, this year compared to last year. Went 6-4 during the regular season, lost in the first round of the playoffs. But Central, obviously, you don't really know what to expect there. Bringing in a new coach, kind of saw some momentum happening with Coach Simmons, but you don't know what to expect there. And the same thing with Horseshoe Bend with a new coach, but with Benjamin Russell, and we'll start with them to kind of open up the show. Again, we had the opportunity to go check out their first live scrimmage on Friday, and they were doing some goal line work, and the intensity level there was exciting. It was the first day in pads too, so the kids were really excited about that. So
there's nothing better than the first day in pads and
it was insane.
Line. Goal line defense was always the best. It's so much fun because chances are you're on defense, you're going. You're shooting the gap, man, especially on the 1 yard line. So I bet they were excited about that, but didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no. I'm just saying I think that we're poised to see. I want to see how the communities in our area react to maybe not having that powerhouse like we have been. And so this is when, especially on the high school level, where these kids need you the most, where not saying that they're going to struggle, but you're not going to see more than likely, a Benjamin Russell team who had gone 4 straight seasons of 10 wins. Last year they go 3-7. The likelihood of them getting to 10 wins this year isn't that high, but they're a team that's going to be better record-wise and better on the field than they saw last year. I think you see a different work ethic this year, different senior leadership led by Benjamin Hendricks and Jaden Tuck. I think those two are probably two of your more vocal guys and guys that will be preparing things, especially from the defensive end. And then offensively, you have David Herring, who will be shifting to a purely running back situation where he was kind of more of a wide receiver, tight end type of guy last year. And Tyler Watts also, who was in the H slot last year, who now will be still in that spot, but maybe not from a pass catching route or perspective as much, but more so from a blocking aspect with the Wildcats going to that wing T. So those 4 guys in particular are some names I think that the Wildcats need to watch out for. But a lot of young guys were getting reps up there on Friday, and so I think this will be a fun time to get to see these guys, because 2 years from now, I guarantee you 2 years from now, this Benjamin Russell team will have an opportunity for another state championship run. Not the caliber of athlete that maybe you saw with the Tyree Grays, that class, but just pound for pound in numbers, I think they have more guys in quantity rather than the quantity that we've had before. So I think it'll be a lot of fun to really catch up with them. And again, I like to see a guy like Danny Horn who has a pedigree of winning, and so hasn't had a losing season since he had never really had a losing season until his first 2 seasons here at Benjamin Russell, and then kind of took a step back last year. So I'm eager to see what his message is going to be for the team, and catching up with some of those guys in your show your colors event that we were a part of, kind of our media day. That was really the main message from everyone, was that they've erased what happened last year. They're ready to put that behind them. And when you have new guys and new leadership, different coaching staff, I think it's going to be interesting to see really what happens with the Wildcats. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens with this wing T, because that is a different type of offense for 6A football. So I want to see how that correlates to success offensively.
Yeah, definitely. And it could be one of those things too, kind of like you see in college where you're used to facing a spread or a run out of the spread attack like you do every week. So you can prepare for that a lot. But so something like this might be something difficult to kind of prepare for every, once this season or something like that. So you might catch somebody off guard. You know what I mean? Because it's one of those things where you get used to seeing the same offense, and you pretty much know your reads. You know what they're going to do. You know what they're going to do. But you don't see an offense like this. That's tough to do in 4 days. You know what I mean? Because chances are you come in Monday, you kind of get things ready, get your plan, what you're going to do, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is getting ready for the other team's offense. So it's going to be interesting for sure. But you touched on one thing that you said, talking about Daveville and Reeltown coming up, and also Ben Russell and Clay Central coming up first game of the season. Brings up a good point that we were talking about Friday night. I think it's time that we start playing teams in the area again. I want to see, can you imagine, and both sides may not agree, but can you imagine a Ben Russell Daveville game?
If nothing else, even if it was just the week 0 game where the game didn't necessarily count from a win-loss game, but I would like to see that.
First game of the season, we're not that much larger.
I'm not going to lie. Now, when Benjamin Russell wanted to play Daveville, there was more of a lopsided, or when it was kind of initiated, there was more of a lopsided team for the Wildcats.
Of course.
But then Daveville went 10-0.
Yeah, they had Kyle Caldwell back there,
and then they kind of wanted to play, and that was when the Wildcats were 2-8, 2-8, and 1-9. So there was that, or 1-9, 2-8, 2-8. So really wasn't interested in that. Yeah. But I think now both programs are in a situation where I think it could be a great fundraiser too for both athletic departments. It could be used for that. So kind of like what we saw with the game where we had the alumni game with Benzel Russell and Coosa. That was a huge fundraiser for those programs. So I'd like to see something like that. And I know both communities would support it, and I think that'd be something that everyone would want to go see. And
that's something we're going to touch on, too, later on in the show. But we'll get to go a quick break real fast. We got some great guests coming up, so everybody kind of bear with us. And we'll be right back with you more than Lake Martin Sports Roundup right after this.
All right, sorry about that, guys. I was struggling there, a little technical difficulties there, but thanks to Blake for taking care of it. I want to welcome in a familiar sponsor to the show. We've had them on several times to discuss some of the local things that they're involved in. That's Main Street Family Urgent Care. They now have a new community educator and someone that we're very excited to introduce to the show, Ms. Courtney Lambert. So, Courtney, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So, for those who may not be familiar with exactly what Main Street is and what they do, what an urgent care center is, could you provide a little insight to that?
So we are a Main Street facility. We have urgent care. We handle walk-ins like strep throat. We have inside x-rays. We handle the small things, the big things. We do occupational medicine, workman's comp as well. Right now we're doing sports physicals and back to school physicals. So we're doing those as low as $20.
Okay. So for someone who, why would someone, what's the advantage of going to an, are you going to?
Pride ourselves on having a family atmosphere. We like to know our patients. We like to know our community, very active in our community. You always kind of see us around wherever our locations are. We like to support our local businesses. We like to get you in and get you out as quickly as possible. We have in-house medications, so you don't have to worry about going to the pharmacy.
Okay. That's actually good to know. But when you talked about your relationship with the community and something that you guys pride yourself on, and your role with Main Street is community educator. So what does that entail?
So my job is to be in the community. My job is to be involved as much as I possibly can with community relations, with different activities, anything really that goes on at any of our clinics in the area. You're going to see a friendly face from Main Street at that location. We like to be at church festivals and school festivals. We're into high school sports, and pretty much anything where the community is involved, you're going to see us represented there.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. If anyone who has looked at anything in the last year or so, maybe Main Street has been in like city, what, about 18 months maybe, or a year, somewhere in that realm?
Not quite, almost a year.
Almost a year? Okay, I should know that. But during that time, any event that's been taking place, there's somebody represented from Main Street, whether it's Dr. Wags or someone else affiliated with it. So very excited about that. But not only do you handle the Alexander City area, you also handle the Sylacauga area. So there's some things happening within Sylacauga as well that you guys have going on?
Right. We're a big sponsor for Sylacauga High School football this year. So you're going to see us all over at kickoff and on the scoreboard, and also with Benjamin Russell. We're sponsoring with them.
Okay. So if someone, let's say someone had needed just per se a flu shot or something, I know that's not, we're a little far removed from that, but we're getting close to that time. So is that something you could also go to urgent care for that as well?
Absolutely. We do vaccinations, immunizations year round, and with it becoming flu season, it's going to be time to start getting those in.
Okay, so talking to you before the show, or before you came up here, rather, during the break, you were saying how that you're actually from, did you say Atlanta?
I'm just north of Atlanta.
North of Atlanta. So a little less hectic than here. So what was the big, I know you said you've been here about 4 years now, but what's been the biggest adjustment from Atlanta to coming to small town Alabama?
I love the small town. I love the small town field. You can't go anywhere without knowing somebody else. It's great place to raise kids, a great place to have a family. It's a great place to be. I'm really happy here, and I don't miss the traffic or anything else.
Absolutely. No bridges falling apart here. But again, we're here with Courtney Lamberth, who is the community educator for Main Street Family Urgent Care, and someone who's been very supportive of us as well as events throughout the community. I can definitely say just through various roles that I'm a part of within the community, I always, again, see you guys there, and that's a welcoming sight to have a business who's invested as much as you guys are within the community. And before we wrap things up here, and we're hopeful that we'll be able to bring you on more and more, just in terms of hours and days that you guys are open, could you discuss that a little bit as well?
We're open 7 days a week, which is great when you can't get into the pediatrician or you need a last-minute physical. We're open Monday through Friday from 8 to 8, Saturday from 8 to 6, and from Sunday 1 to 6.
Okay. All right. So for any of our younger listeners out there, and I guess their parents as well, do we have a prospective Dr. Wags visit coming anywhere soon?
We are going to, we're planning a rock painting gathering. That's kind of in the works right now. Okay. And then we're going to be helping with the United Way kickoff later this month in Alex City. So we've got a lot coming up with fall and all the fall festivals. And so we're going to be really busy. So Dr. Wags is going to be in the community doing lots of giveaways the next couple months.
Well, Courtney, we appreciate you coming up here and discussing one of the assets in our community. And again, that's Main Street Family Urgent Care. And again, we appreciate all the things you guys do within the community. Be sure that if you're in need of any thing medically, just quick checkup. Doesn't necessarily always have to be you have to go to a doctor's office or go to the emergency room. We do have a great facility at Main Street Urgent Care, so we do appreciate you coming up here, and we look forward to catching up with you next time.
Thank you so much.
Again, that's Courtney Lamberth, the community educator from Main Street Family Urgent Care. Again, we appreciate them being such great sponsors of all of our programming. We're going to take another break, and when we return, Adam Blankenship will be back up here to discuss an event going on in the next weekend or so. More of the Late March Sports Roundup show right after this.
All right. Hold on. You're good at hearing with that. You're good at hearing with that.
Man, those keys in there. I've been trying to get the word out, man. I'm trying to.
How's it going?
It's going to work.
Is it? Good. Oh, real good. Show's coming up soon. Y'all ready for it? Yeah, thank you very much. You stay right there. You're fine. They still see everything. It's good. You're still good. The mic works too. You're good. There you go. It's a different event.
Oh, yeah. Oh. This year, this is statewide on Channel 8.
Yes.
Yeah. Is it just live or does it show?
It's live. It's going to be online.
Channel 8.
Yes.
And every play.
Welcome back into Lake Martin Sports Roundup. Your host, Adam Blankenship. Scott had a good interview right there last segment with Main Street Urgent Care here in Alex City and all the great work they do with us as well. But now we're going to kind of switch pace a little bit and talk about something that's coming up this weekend at the Lake Martin Event Center, the Rodeo Club, and joined again by our friends with with pro wrestling with Softcore Cup 2. Guys, how are y'all doing?
Doing good, man. Getting ready. Just got 4 more days, so we're on that final stretch, trying to push this thing and get the word out.
Yeah, definitely. Looks like you got some guests with you tonight. Who are these?
Yeah.
Who are these guys?
This is Bama Mark Chaos here.
Okay.
He's going to be in the LXW World Title match.
All right. Oh yes, it's going to be a ton of fun. And this man right here is
Cornbread. I'll be in the Money in the Bank Rumble match.
okay, so he's the one that's going to that's going for all the money, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, talk to us about the event. It's this Saturday night at the Lake Martin Event Center at the Rodeo Club. Talk to us about times, what they can do for tickets, all those kind of great things.
Yeah, we got the bail time 7 p.m. And it's going to be 18 and up event. It's going to be hosted by comedian Steve Jessup from Louisiana. He's the guy. He's got building up a following now. He's on the comedy club circuit, and he was a guy a few years ago that he got pulled over driving the lawnmower drunk. I think he was on like all the TV.
Wow!
And then he was on a scissor lift. He got busted again driving scissor lift drunk.
Good gracious! He needs to stay away from driving.
So his website is IKnowMyRights.com.
Yeah.
And he's like right on the verge of blowing up, like being a big comedian. And so I'm thinking we're going to pull people in just to see him.
It sounds like you're bringing the stars out with you then too, huh?
Yeah. We got Mark here. He's been on Rick and Bubba's show several times.
I've been on all of the show. Come back, check it out.
Oh, there he is. He's talking it already, huh?
Yeah, he's ready to go, man. Anyway, so we're going to start. Right now, you can get tickets at the Rodeo Club.
Uh-huh.
Anybody that's in there, don't matter who's working, just go up to the bar and tell them you want advance tickets. You can get them. Right now, general admission are $15.
Okay.
If you buy 4, you get the 5th one free.
There you go.
Now, at the door, they're going to be up to 20 still, though. If you buy 4, I'm going to let you get the 5th one free, even if you get them the night of the show.
Nice.
For general admission now, the Golden Circle seats are $25, and that's right down there ringside.
Now,
you can feel the sweat off of them when they.
Now, from what I'm hearing, those things are selling out fast right there. So you have to they need to call you and kind of go ahead and reserve them, don't they?
Yeah, I would go ahead if I want a Golden Circle seat. I know we're going to have singles and we're going to have tables as well.
Okay. And
those are $25 each. So if you want a Golden Circle, either a table or a single. Now, when we printed this, it says tables, but we will have some singles. So if you got one or two or individuals, if you don't want a whole table, we are going to offer some singles.
All right, and they can call you at 256-223-2021 to get those tickets. Better get the Golden Circle tables quick because those are selling out fast. From what I hear around in the area, that those things right there are in demand. So make sure you call in and get those because these two guys up here we see that they're pumped up and excited. It's going to be a heck of a show.
Camera's right up there, man. Look at him. Do a pose.
Yeah.
Camera's right up there, man. Get them guns up, man.
Go ahead and flex for them.
Go on, man.
And that's this Saturday night, August 19th at the Lake Martin Event Center at the Rodeo Club. That's at 10268 County Road 34. Everyone in this area knows what Rodeo Club is. It's going to be a ton of fun. And what were you about to say?
Oh yeah, I was going to go over some of the matches.
Oh yeah,
I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No.
We're going to have this, women's lingerie cat fight.
Mm-hmm.
So that's worth getting in, guys. You want to see the women? We got that. We talked about that drunken monkey match last time.
Yeah,
that one's going to be fun. Basically, I'll go ahead and explain that match. It's like an I quit match, except they're drinking during the match. And so you got to, instead of making your opponent say I quit, you got to make them say I'm a drunken monkey.
There you go.
So I guess whoever gets trashed first is going to lose,
So this is one of those things that can last forever, right?
Yeah, it could drag on a little while. So that one there, we're going to have some ballets like Mistress Ann, plus-size model Spike Zombie. She's been on some MTV shows. So, we've got some stars. Like I said, she's been on MTV. Mark's been on Rick and Bubba. Steve Jessup, he's blowing up. I'm trying to think who else we've got that's been out there a little bit. We've got some stars coming in all the way from Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
The Chikara Lucha promotion. We've got some guys coming in from Charlotte. Guys coming in from Atlanta. So I mean, we've got wrestlers coming in all over the South,
Man.
and so it's going to be the event of the summer. You ain't going to want to miss it.
Yeah,
And it's
definitely.
right here for football season, so you ain't got an excuse not to be there.
Exactly.
Because there ain't no ball games going on this weekend.
You're exactly right. It's gonna be a packed house. It's gonna be a ton of fun. Have y'all already started setting up everything down there yet? Or
Well,
y'all?
we'll start tomorrow.
Start
Night. Tomorrow night we're gonna start. We're gonna take the ring in there, and then we're gonna start working on lights. We're gonna have strobes and fog and everything. So it's gonna be real professional.
Oh man.
Setup will be real professional. And the rodeo club's a beautiful building.
It is tons of space, isn't it?
Yeah, the big room in there is. Beautiful place and plenty of room. I mean, we can pack several hundred people in there easy.
Yeah, definitely. And that's yeah.
Do you want to say something? Oh, okay.
You don't have anything you want to say?
No, I just hope to see everybody out there watch good match. Cornbread going to try to get that money in the bank. Got to climb a ladder, but I'm a pretty big feller. I believe I can get up the ladder.
Are you nervous?
A little bit.
A little bit, because that's a long fall right there from the top of a ladder, right?
I think the ladder is about 16 foot up.
Good.
Climb that ladder, and the ring's already 12 foot above, so pretty high distance for a big man to climb.
How much experience do you got in ladder matches like that? Is this something you like to fight in a lot?
Oh, this will be my first ladder match, but I have been in many matches all over, other matches, but this will be my first ladder match.
Well, there you go. Well, my recommendation is don't get knocked off. I'm sure it's going to happen, but good luck with that. That's going to be a ton of fun. So that's this Saturday, August 19th, the Lake Martin events at the Rodeo Club, Softcore Cup 2. Tell us one more time where everybody can call and get tickets.
All right, tickets. If you're local or in the area and you want to get them in person, you go to the Rodeo Club. You can see Ed, Marge, any of the bartenders down there, or they can call me at 256-223-2021, or they can order by PayPal with a credit card. They can email me at Alabama Pro, that's Alabama PRO, at hotmail.com. They can email me. So you got 3 ways to get tickets. 4, and they'll, of course, be available at the door as well.
Well, there you have it, folks.
Yeah.
That's going to be this Saturday, 7 o'clock, where everything starts. Now, make sure you get out there and check it out. It's going to be an event like none other in this area. So should be a ton of fun. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, man.
Guys, we appreciate y'all coming up here and talking with us some more about this. Looking forward to see what y'all can do this Saturday.
Yeah, man. Looking forward to it.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. And we're going to take a quick commercial break. Scott and I'll be right back with you more on the Lake Martin Sports Roundup show after this. Yeah.
Welcome back in, and thanks for joining us here on the Sports Blitz State Martin Sports Roundup Show. Adam Blankenship and Scott Hardy here with you for the next 25 minutes or so. We've had some great guests here the last couple of segments, and again, the pro wrestling event that will be taking place at the Rodeo Club this Saturday. Again, we're anticipating a great crowd there. But speaking of things that are happening in the Lake Martin area coming up, something that I'll be a part of, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity to even have anything to do with this event, which is the Dreamfield fundraiser that will be taking place this Saturday. It's a dinner, auction, and concert that will be taking place at the Sportplex this Saturday. And so we've had Jim Hardy on a couple of times, as well as Christy, to talk about and his wife, Christy Hardy, to discuss just what the Dreamfield is and exactly what that can provide to a community like Alexander City. And for us to be able to get this, I think, is a tremendous plus for the community. But Sonny Wilson and his staff with Christy and everyone else involved have been putting in an extreme amount of effort and work for this, and must say thank you to Kendall Graveman as well, who has been very instrumental in providing a lot of the items that have taken place, as well as Coach Thomas, who has been very influential as well at Central Alabama in providing a lot of these gifts that we've been able to get. But kind of a rundown of a few of those things, and I don't really want to spend a lot of time just reading down on those.
But you kind of got to.
I mean,
you got to
there's
touch
some
base a little bit on what we got here.
Just a real quick story. Just before this Friday, our boy Swole, and if you want to help me break some down too. Yeah. Kyle Graveman, whose brother Kendall, obviously, again, has been very helpful in getting a lot of these items. Came in Friday, and I won't say who the person was, what the jersey was, but we got to see it Friday and kind of took some pictures, some weird.
I'm going to tell you who it is.
Yeah, it was Jose Altuve, so it was all good.
There you go.
But second baseman for the Astros, potential MVP this year for the American League. So we've had some great things, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson. So if you want to run down a few of those right there.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the thing about it, as I really want to we don't necessarily want to go into it because it's not about this stuff, but you got to hear some of the things that they've got that they're auctioning off. A Magic Johnson signed basketball, a Ha Clinton Dix signed football jersey, Packer jersey, a Rizzo signed World Series baseball, an A.J. McCarron signed print, a Tom Glavine 300 wins signed baseball. I mean, some of these things, Michael Jordan signed baseball, Ozzie Guillen signed baseball, Albert Pujols has a pair of his cleats that's autographed, to Altuve with the bat and jersey, Reggie Jackson. I mean, some of the names on here are just amazing. I mean, and a lot of stuff from the local too. You know, 2 nights Russell Cabins, 2 nights at the Villas at Willow Point, 2 rounds of golf at Willow Point. There's just a lot of different things that a lot of people in the community and outside and have put together to make this thing happen. And I'm just, you really can't say much about or say enough about the stuff and the support that Kendall's helped, and that a lot of people that he knew has helped pitch together for this. And a lot of them don't even know anybody here, but that they just support the cause and that they're wanting to be involved in some way. So this should be a fundraiser and an auction that really drives up a lot of money, and hopefully gets Alex City to that goal of getting that dream field and getting that complex built, because it's something that's going to benefit everyone. It's going to be something you can hold events for many years to come.
Yeah, and excuse me, and obviously there's been a lot of great support from other people within the community as well. I know Bill White has put in a lot of effort with this event as well, and and as well as Coach Butch Thompson in Auburn and Coach Bruce Pearl as well. Coach Thompson was working on something for me, but sometimes with universities there's some clearance issues sometimes that you're unable to really get that. But having said that, he will be there Saturday, so an opportunity to catch up with him as well. But I just want to make sure that everyone understands the significance of what the dream field is. And a lot of times we take for granted the availability of something like the Sportplex because we're able to just go at any time. But if you're someone who maybe has a limitation in terms of access to those types of fields, then this is something specifically for them. And so not that this is what it's for, but there's opportunities for Special Olympics events. And so the investment in this isn't just something that's for a certain group of people. Everyone can benefit from this. And so what separates this field from what other dream fields or Miracle League fields that we've seen across the country is this is going to be a multi-sport field. So it just won't be for baseball. It's going to be able to do several different types of sports out there. So I'm really excited about this, and our Parks and Rec department has been putting in a lot of work for this. So again, hats off to Sonny Wilson again for all he's been doing to ensure that this is going to take off. This has really been a vision of his, he and Jim Hardy's, for quite some time, and so people may not realize that, but this has been something they've been pushing for a while, and now it looks like we're really in the process of getting things done.
But what are some of the things, I'm not sure, how much you've gotten into it. What are some of the things a lot of the places who have complexes like this have told you guys about it? I mean, they talk a lot about everything that you can do as far as events and those type things. Or?
Yeah, well, truthfully, like in Silicaga had an event maybe 3 months ago, right before school got out, maybe May, Special Olympics. And so that, with my experience with the sports festival, that is really a huge event and a very popular event, not necessarily just for the athletes as well, but for family members and supporters and schoolmates and school teachers, just anyone that's a part of that. So we have actually Jeremy Phillips here at Benjamin Russell, who is very active. He's in special education at Benjamin Russell, but he's very active with the Special Olympics activities and sporting events that are taking place. So it's going to be really fun when all this comes together. And again, I know people sometimes look at the monetary aspect of things, but you don't understand what it's like to not have that availability for you. So that's really the biggest thing, is through talking to some other communities. And a friend of mine who in Auburn, who his family participates with it, he was just saying how joyful it is to see those kids out there. And so it's not just necessarily just for kids either, it's for adults. So any person with special needs is available for this, but it just won't be for special needs either. I mean, there'll be access to everyone, and that's what's separating this, is that everyone will have access to this, but this will be something that's specifically made for people with athletes with special needs. So again, I'm thrilled to be a part of it, and off with everything they do with that organization. I've had the opportunity to really get more involved with it, been involved with the Parks and Rec department, but I've seen for years what Jim Hardy and what he's been able to do. And then with Christy coming along now with her background in Parks and Rec, she has been able to put light a fire under this Parks and Rec department. She's been very active on social media and doing her job, her best to promote a lot of the things that are happening. And so for an area like Alex City to get something like this is really a big plus. So hats off again to everyone who's been involved, whether from a volunteer standpoint, monetarily, or just the vision itself, or just the support itself, which is really appreciated.
Yeah, definitely. And you touched on too about how much work Sonny and Jim Hardy and everyone else in the community has done, especially Jim, as much work as he's done to get off to where it is now. Just hats off to those guys for pushing through and really sticking behind this idea right here and driving it home. So I think this auction and foundation, everything is going to be a big step in the direction they want to head.
Yeah, and again, I know we're kind of pushing up against the break here shortly, but again, I do want to say, again, this Saturday, make sure that we give the rundown of events. Again, this Saturday at 5:30, there will be there's a VIP dinner taking place. And the thing is, and I'm sorry, Sonny, I did ask you to call in, but I forgot we cannot take calls for the show. So we do apologize. So if there's anything that I'm missing that I need to relay, please let me know. I just want to make sure everyone has the opportunity to see what we're doing. And
definitely call in from the 7 to 9
yes,
show too.
Sonny, if you're listening, please call into the 7 to 9 show, and we'll provide you the contact information there. I'm sure that Luke and Andy would love the opportunity to discuss what's going on there. But again, just for a rundown, on Saturday, again, it's the 19th. This Saturday, $35 for a single ticket, $60 for a couple, and there'll be a live auction with special guests and 2017 Auctioneer of the Year. This may be what I'm the most excited about, is to hear Chuck Bradley. It's one of my good friends. I've kind of heard him offhand do some auctioneering, but never really seen it in an event itself.
It's a skill, man.
It is. No, I mean, it's super. You got to be super talented to do that. And I didn't realize. I kind of thought it was like no, it's real deal.
It's like taking Timberland and Buster Rhymes and making him. Like he's kind of like at that speed and at that
That's
pace.
absolutely what it
And to
is.
know what you're doing and to know what you're saying is impressive. So, and I guess to win Auctioneer of the Year, I mean he's got to be good. It's going to be fun just to see that because and if you think about it too, that's kind of a dying skill. Like, you don't hear many people do that. So it's really cool.
Yeah, and again, as we get ready to go to break, again, this benefit again is for this live concert and auction is benefiting the Alexander City Dream Field, a sports field for children and adults with special needs. Special guests for the concert will be Route 66 featuring Justin Rivers from The Voice Season 4, Russell Craig, as well as Kyle Wilson. So we appreciate that. Again, if you're interested in the VIP tickets, if I'm not mistaken, they may have already capped off what they needed to have for that, so for the VIP space. But general admission tickets, $15. So if you're interested in being a part of that, please contact Sonny Wilson or Christy Hardy or some other members throughout the community. You can go to the Facebook page of Alexander City Parks and Rec. They've been doing a great job of promoting the event there. So, and also watch out. There'll be a couple of news affiliates that'll be here Saturday, as well as maybe a couple of things. We have some prize for you this week as well. But we're going to take another break, and we'll return. We'll finish up the show and get things prepped for Sports Blitz Live with Luke and Andy. More of the Sports Blitz Late Morning Sports Roundup show right after this.
Changes lives.
Speaking of social media changing lives, Adam Blankenship and Scott Hardy here with you. Changing lives here in the Lake Martin area.
Lives.
Lake Martin Sports Roundup again. We have a few minutes left in today's program, and we want to appreciate our guest today, Ms. Courtney Lambert from Main Street Urgent Care, to discuss her new role as the community educator for them. And again, we appreciate all the support that they give the community as well as the school system. And also, we want to again let you guys know about the Rodeo Club event that will be taking place this Saturday, pro wrestling event. So just
Southport Cup 2 at Lake Martin Event Center this Saturday. Bell time is 7 p.m. Get your tickets. You can get tickets at the gate. You can call my man at 256-223-2021 to get your tickets now. So things are kind of selling kind of fast, so make sure you jump in there and get on that. One thing, Scott, before we go, I kind of want to check in. Have you watched Hard Knocks? Did you watch Hard Knocks last week?
Wow, I feel like I was a little loud there. I apologize. I have not kept up with it actually, because who's on there? It's the Buccaneers. Yeah. I haven't seen. I'm a huge fan of Jameis though. I know that's what you didn't want to hear that. I'm a huge fan of Jameis.
He's unbearable.
I hated him.
Oh, he's.
I'm not going to say I hate him. I had a strong dislike for him when he was at Florida State. But then I watched him as a freshman, as calmly as he could be, drive Florida State down the field and beat Auburn and hit Kevin Benjamin.
There's no denying his talent. I think he's super awesome. I think he's going to be really good. Of course, he won me a fantasy championship last year. But as a person, man,
see how you snuck that in there?
I can't listen to him talk and take him serious. Like, you know how he's so over the top and very like he always does. But there was a segment on the first one where he's talking to a bunch of kids and he's trying to give us an inspirational talk and all this kind of stuff like that. And the whole time I'm thinking, like, man, I can't take you seriously because of the whole rape thing. You know?
Well,
I just can't.
This is my thing on that. I've not going to say that
he's unbearable.
I feel like everyone, especially in today's society, everyone loves a redemption story. And not to say not from that. What I'm saying in terms of just his public persona and the hit he took there, I'm not going to say that should ever be overlooked. But I do think it's one of those things where America loves a story like this, whether it's good or bad, like that. To see him succeed in this area. But then again, charges were never brought against him. He never was suspended. So, and that's kind of correlating to what I was going to ask you about, like Zeke Elliott. No charges were pressed.
Man, that's just such a tough. It's a lose-lose for the player because not saying all of these claims are false, but
if the police
possibility it could be held hostage because of they made it up and they're trying to get something out of them. And if that's the case and it's found out that nothing does happen later on, they should retrofit that and come back and charge her, because that's the most life-damaging thing I think you can get.
No, I think he did do it. It was like 5 things in 3 days, or 3 things in 5 days.
The James thing too, and everything else.
Yeah,
it's a huge cloud that nobody knows what's going on. But either way, he does.
I blame the players' union though for allowing the NFL to be the judge, the final judge on that. That's where my biggest problem is that we always say, leave it up to the courts, let them do that. So whether you agree with how the court system works or not,
I don't know, man. I kind of.
You like the NFL being?
I think they can do that. I think if I had a business and someone got in trouble for something and didn't necessarily get charged, but I thought that it violated our moral standards or conduct,
okay, fair enough.
I would like to be able to fire them.
Fair enough.
Without them being charged.
Fair enough. But then what's the point? So then are we saying that employers have a higher stake in an individual than the actual judicial system? So I think
necessarily, but I think the employer should have the opportunity to choose who they want to represent their company, though. The same foot.
Sure.
I mean, it don't have to be that deep, but I think they should get that choice.
Absolutely. All right. Well, looks like it's time for us to wrap things up here. Luke and Andy are getting ready to get things started for Sports Live. We appreciate you guys tuning in. For Ryan, our producer, who I will get your last name next week. Ryan, our producer, our co-host, Mr. Blankenship, Adam Blankenship. I'm Scott Hardy saying thank you for joining us. See you next week.